Early meditation. Boy, that just sets you on a good step forward, doesn't it? So thank you, everybody who showed up for that. We have prayers at the candles today, the fourth Sunday. So anytime you would like to get up and light a candle for prayer for someone in particular, for yourself, for a situation, for the world, whatever you would like to light a candle for, come forward anytime this morning. Just get up and come forward and light a candle. We also have a board here where you can write names of people you would like included in the prayer, the out loud prayer that Lou will say this morning, that we will all be participating with her in. If you would like a name included in that prayer, you can write that on the board as well. The board will only be down here for a little bit till Lou comes up so she can see the names and read them. Yeah, come up now and do it if you'd like. Just invite you to breathe with me now. Just relax. Here we are. We're all in church together. Just breathe a mindful breath and relax into this beautiful day as we speak our mission statement together. We recognize and realize the omnipresence of divine love as the truth of all.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place, a quiet place within my life, and I will listen, Holy Spirit. I will listen. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place.
And in this quiet stillness, in this place where all thoughts dissipate as I focus on the one, I know that there is one power, one presence, one eternal peace everywhere present. I'm realizing this divine presence is the center of my being. I let this recognition flow through my entire consciousness and into the very depths of my being. And please join me there. For we are one with this peace, and it is one with each of us. for we are each unique expressions of this divine oneness. And I know for myself, everyone here, and all people everywhere, that our divine nature is peace. And this divine peace now flows through our thoughts, our words, and our actions. All other thoughts dissolve as we rest in the peace that passeth understanding. Together we embrace this energy and vibration, and it reaches outward to all beings everywhere. Standing in the energy of the one, we remember the truth that there is only one power, one presence, one eternal peace everywhere. I know the eternal goodness in which we believe includes the peace found in the center of each situation, as well as in the quiet of our meditation. We turn away from fear and anxiety and move by faith into the peace beyond human understanding. We expand our consciousness and contribute to a greater future for all. And I speak this word for the prayer request, knowing that the wholeness and perfection of the one power and presence is right where they are. And I speak this word including Christopher, Gina, Ken, Verda, World Peace, John Nevin's family, Glenora and Kevin, Pat and Jerry, Marjorie, Tricia, Tammy, Tip, Tide family, Crystal, Shanti, Pasha, Ali, Orion, and children, the Ukraine, Dale Smith, Amber and David, Lizzie, Linda Smith, Ben. Each is enfolded and held in the healing power of love, and the fullness of life is at hand. Each is guided and directed to a higher expression of life in each situation, full of vitality, joy, health, abundance, peace, and love of life. And this permeates and expresses gratefully for each one. The service is blessed, and all who participate, we are uplifted and blessed by each shining light. And I am grateful for this truth of peace and the fullness of life that is ours now. And I say thank you, Spirit, for all that is given, all that is here now and to come. Releasing this prayer to the law of life in faith and expectancy, I let go, knowing it is already manifesting as we join together and declare, and so it is.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, 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 closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If there is some reason that things in your life are just not quite as peaceful as you'd like them to be, you're being overrun by fears, anxieties, and whatnot, please leave your worries here. Put your request in the prayer chest, and the practitioner will be knowing the truth through affirmative prayer for you this week. This is the time for us to really turn within for the strength of our pure essence that we know is there. From the Dalai Lama, world peace must develop from inner peace. Peace is not just mere absence of violence. Peace is, I think, the manifestation of human compassion. And from Ernest Holmes, any thought that tends to inspire, to comfort, and to give peace to the mind is good.
simplicity and loveliness.
Stay close to nature, learn to share.
All that we have with all around, we each must tend this sacred ground. Of all the gifts we ever give, the greatest one is how we live, to live this life so freely given and render it a gift to Of all the gifts we ever give, the greatest one is how we
Oh, thank you so much, David and Tamara. What a beautiful song. Right? Of all the gifts we ever give, the greatest one is how we live. That is, boy, we could stop right there as well. It's a message in itself, and that's what we do here at Center for Spiritual Life. We practice living a spiritual life. So thank you again so much. Okay, so here we are, the last Sunday in February, the short month, and we have been studying, in the year 2022, we will be studying abundant living, and for February, our theme has been abundant relationships. And we have been reading out of Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, because this, like I said, I thought, you know, everybody, when you're born, you should be given, this is your handbook, here you go. Follow this along and your life will be easier. So I'm thinking, when we're talking about relationships, if we can touch on these four agreements and incorporate some of that into our lives, surely it will show up in our relationships with ourselves, with our life, with each other, all of the relationships, because we are relating all of the time in this world. So I am going to do the last live service for this week. I'm going to do it again. I feel very strongly if we're going to talk about a book that the most accurate and best information we can get is the author's words, right? So I'm going to read some, and we're smushing together two of the agreements today. Don't make assumptions and always do your best. So we'll talk about both of those today. I'm going to start out just by reading. Let's see here. So I've highlighted what I thought were really good points in the book, and I'm going to just read the highlights, not the whole chapter. The third agreement, don't make assumptions. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. We have the tendency to make assumptions about everything. The problem with making assumptions is that we believe they are the truth. We could swear they are real. We make assumptions about what others are doing or thinking. We take it personally, then we blame them and react by sending emotional poison with our word. That is why whenever we make assumptions, we're asking for problems. We make an assumption, we misunderstand, we take it personally, and we end up creating a whole big drama. All the sadness and drama you have lived in your life was rooted in making assumptions and taking things personally. That's a really big statement. He says, all the sadness and drama you have lived in your life was rooted in making assumptions and taking things personally. Take a moment to consider the truth of this statement. The whole world of control between humans is about making assumptions and taking things personally. Our whole dream of hell is based on that. We create a lot of emotional poison just by making assumptions and taking it personally, because usually we are gossiping about our assumptions. And remember, gossiping is the way we communicate to each other in the dream of hell, and then we transfer poison to one another. And because we are afraid to ask for clarification, we make assumptions and believe we are right about the assumptions. And then we defend our assumptions and try to make someone else wrong. It is always better to ask questions than to make any assumptions, because assumptions set us up for suffering. Because we don't understand something, we make assumptions about the meaning. And when the truth comes out, the bubble of our dream pops, and we find out it was not what we thought it was at all. Gosh, I remember doing this a lot as a parent, and I have 5 children, and so, you know, when your children start into public schools, they start having friends. And all the way through, I remember as a parent, not out loud, but just within myself, making a lot of assumptions about these friends that were hanging out with my kids. And I was wrong almost all the time. And it took me a long time to realize that it was the assumption that I was making that was causing me suffering here. It was all really okay. But realizing that I was making assumptions was a big deal, and that's just one little tiny area of life, right? That's just one little example. Oh, here he has an example. An example, you are walking in the mall and you see a person you like. That person turns to you and smiles and then walks away. You can make a lot of assumptions just because of this one experience. With these assumptions, you can create a whole fantasy. And you really want to believe this fantasy and make it real. A whole dream begins to form just from your assumptions. And you can believe, oh, this person really likes me. In your mind, a whole relationship begins from that. Maybe you even get married in this fantasy land. But the fantasy is in your mind, in your personal dream. Ever do that? Making assumptions in our relationships is really asking for problems. Often we make the assumption that our partners know what we think and that we don't have to say what we want. We often make the assumption that our partners know what we think and that we don't have to say what we want. We assume they are going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we assume they should do, we feel so hurt and we say, you should have known. Making assumptions in relationship leads to a lot of fights, a lot of difficulties, a lot of misunderstandings with people we supposedly love. Again, we make the assumption that the other person knows what we want. A whole drama is created because we make this assumption and then put more assumptions on top of it. It is very interesting how the human mind works. We have the need to justify everything, to explain and understand everything in order to feel safe. We have millions of questions that need answers because there are so many things that the reasoning mind cannot explain. It is not important if the answer is correct. Just the answer itself makes us feel safe. This is why we make assumptions. We're nodding our heads, yes. If others tell us something, we make assumptions. And if they don't tell us something, we make assumptions to fulfill our need to know and to replace the need to communicate. Even if we hear something and we don't understand, we make assumptions about what it means. And then we believe the assumptions. We make all sorts of assumptions because we don't have the courage to ask questions. We have agreed that it is not safe to ask questions. We have agreed that if people love us, they should know what we want or how we feel. We make the assumption that everyone sees life the way we do. We assume that others think the way we think, feel the way we feel, judge the way we judge, and abuse the way we abuse. This is the biggest assumption that humans make. And this is why we have a fear of being ourselves around others. Because we think everyone else will judge us, victimize us, abuse us, and blame us as we do ourselves. Just imagine the day that you stop making assumptions with your partner and eventually with everyone else in your life. Your way of communicating will change completely, and your relationships will no longer suffer from conflicts created by mistaken assumptions. The way to keep yourself from making assumptions is to ask questions. Make sure the communication is clear. If you don't understand, ask. Have the courage to ask questions until you are clear as you can be. And even then, do not assume you know all there is to know about a given situation. Once you hear the answer, you will not have to make assumptions because you will know the truth. Also, find your voice to ask for what you want. Everybody has the right to tell you no or yes, but you always have the right to ask. Likewise, everybody has the right to ask you, and you have the right to say yes or no. With clear communication, all your relationships will change, not only with your partner, but with everyone else. Don't make assumptions. Just saying this sounds easy, but I understand that it is difficult to do. It is difficult because we so often do exactly the opposite. We have all these habits and routines that we are not even aware of. Becoming aware of these habits and understanding the importance of this agreement is the first step. But understanding its importance is not enough. Information or an idea is merely the seed in your mind. What will really make the difference is action. Taking the action over and over again strengthens your will. It nurtures the seed and establishes a solid foundation for the new habit to grow. After many repetitions, these new agreements will become second nature, and you will see how the magic of your word transforms you. By making this one agreement a habit, your whole life will be completely transformed. When you transform your whole dream, magic just happens in your life. What you need comes to you easily because Spirit moves freely through you. This is the mastery of intent, the mastery of spirit, the mastery of love, the mastery of gratitude, the mastery of life. This is the goal of the Toltec. This is the path to personal freedom. Moving right along. The fourth agreement, always do your best. There is just one more agreement, but it's the one that allows the other three to become deeply ingrained habits. The fourth agreement is about the action of the first three. Always do your best. Under any circumstance, always do your best. No more and no less. But keep in mind that your best is never going to be the same from one moment to the next. Everything is alive and changing all the time, so your best will sometimes be high quality, and other times it will not be as good. When you wake up refreshed and energized in the morning, your best will be better than when you are tired at night. Your best will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick, or sober as opposed to drunk. Your best will depend on whether you are feeling wonderful and happy, or upset, angry, or jealous. In your everyday moods, your best can change from one moment to another, from 1 hour to the next, and from one day to another. Your best will also change over time. As you build the habit of the 4 new agreements, your best will become better than it used to be. Regardless of the quality, keep doing your best, no more and no less than your best. If you try too hard to do more than your best, you will spend more energy than is needed, and in the end, your best will not be enough. When you overdo, you deplete your body and go against yourself, and it will take you longer to accomplish your goal. But if you do less than your best, you subject yourself to frustration, self-judgment, guilt, and regret. Just do your best. In any circumstance in your life, it doesn't matter if you are sick or tired. If you always do your best, there is no way you can judge yourself. And if you don't judge yourself, there is no way you are going to suffer from guilt, blame, and self-punishment. By always doing your best, you will break a big spell that you have been under. There was a man who wanted to transcend his suffering, so he went to a Buddhist temple to find a master to help him. He went to the master and asked, "Master, if I meditate 4 hours a day, how long will it take me to transcend?" The master looked at him and said, "If you meditate 4 hours a day, perhaps you will transcend in 10 years. Thinking he could do better, the man then said, "Oh, Master, what if I meditated 8 hours a day? How long will it take me to transcend?" The master looked at him and said, "If you meditate 8 hours a day, perhaps you will transcend in 20 years. "But why will it take me longer if I meditate more?" the man asked. The master replied, "You are not here to sacrifice your joy or your life. You are here to live, to be happy, and to love. If you can do your best in 2 hours of meditation, but you spend 8 hours instead, you will only grow tired, miss the point, and you won't enjoy your life. Do your best, and perhaps you will learn that no matter how long you meditate, you can live. You can live, love, and be happy." That's a pretty good little story, huh? Doing your best is taking the action because you love it, not because you're expecting a reward. Most people do exactly the opposite. They only take action when they expect a reward, and they don't enjoy the action. And that's the reason why they don't do their best. For example, most people go to work every day just thinking of payday and the money they will get from the work they are doing. They can hardly wait for Friday or Saturday, whatever day they receive their money, and can take time off. They are working for the reward, and as a result, they resist work. They try to avoid the action and it becomes more difficult, and they don't do their best. On the other hand, if you take action just for the sake of doing it without expecting a reward, you will find that you enjoy every action that you do. Doing your best really doesn't feel like work because you enjoy whatever you are doing. You know you're doing your best when you are enjoying the action or doing it in a way that will not have negative repercussions for you. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. Not because you are trying to please the judge. He's talking about the judge within you. Not because you have to please that judge within you, and not because you are trying to please others. When you're doing your best, just for the pleasure of doing it, you're taking action because you enjoy the action. Action is about living fully. Inaction is the way that we deny life. Inaction is sitting in front of the television every day for years because you're afraid to be alive and to take the risk of expressing what you are. Expressing what you are is taking action. You can have many great ideas in your head, but what makes the difference is the action. Without action upon an idea, there will be no manifestation, no results, and no reward. God is life. God is life in action. The best way to say, I love you, God, is to live your life doing your best. The best way to say, thank you, God, is by letting go of the past and living in the present moment right here and right now. Whatever life takes away from you, let it go. When you surrender and let go of the past, you allow yourself to be fully alive in the moment. Letting go of the past means you can enjoy the dream that is happening right now. And now. And right now. Not enjoying what is happening right now is living in the past and being only half alive. This leads to self-pity, suffering, and tears. Boy, I spent years there. You were born with the right to be happy. You were born with the right to love, to enjoy, and to share your love. You are alive. So take your life and enjoy it. Don't resist life passing through you, because that is God passing through you. Just your existence proves the existence of God. I love that. Your existence proves the existence of life and energy. The first three agreements will only work if you do your best. Don't expect that you will always be able to be impeccable with your word. Your routine habits are too strong and firmly rooted in your mind, but you can do your best. Don't expect that you will never take anything personally. Just do your best. Don't expect that you will never make another assumption, but you can certainly do your best. By doing your best, the habits of misusing your word, taking things personally, and making assumptions will become weaker and less frequent with time. You don't need to judge yourself, feel guilty, or punish yourself if you cannot keep these agreements. If you're doing your best, you will feel good about yourself even if you still make assumptions, still take things personally, and still are not impeccable with your word. By doing your best, you become a master. Action is what makes the difference. If you do your best in the search for personal freedom, in the search for self-love, you will discover that it's just a matter of time before you find what you are looking for. That's good to know. It's not about daydreaming or sitting for hours dreaming in meditation. You have to stand up and be a human. I like that. Last paragraph. Do not be concerned about the future. Keep your attention on today and stay in the present moment. Just live one day at a time. Always do your best to keep these agreements, and soon it will be easy for you. Today is the beginning of a new dream. Yeah, nice words. Oh, well, it'll be as long as it is. Let's see. So, two things stood out for me about practicing these two agreements. First, he says, because we are afraid to ask for clarification, we make assumptions. That is, it's always better to ask questions and get clear, accurate information than to make assumptions. And I'm still learning this, as we all are still learning this. Asking is not easy for some people. Even asking questions of yourself sometimes is not easy because we tend to hide from the things that we don't want to know about. Not that we could ever hide from God, just saying. So the first practice, I think, is to ask. Ask questions from others. Ask questions of yourself. Ask for clarification. Ask for more information and insights. If you don't understand, ask. Have the courage to ask questions until you are clear as you can be. When you hear the answer, you will know the truth. And even then, he says, don't assume you know everything there is to know about the situation. It's just another assumption, right? Ask for what you want. No one can read your mind. Did you know that? I believed that for a while, right? But now I know no one can read your mind. Ask for what you want. Don't assume they can read your mind and that they're just withholding from you on purpose. That's for me. That's self-imposed suffering right there. Ask for divine help. H-E-L-P. Michael Beckwith says, hello, eternal loving presence. Help. Hello, eternal loving presence. Show me the way. So don't be afraid to ask for help. The second practice today that I think he talked a lot about was action. He says doing your best is putting those 4 agreements into action, or the other 3 agreements into action. Doing our best is about acting in a way that creates love and acceptance for who we are. Doing your best should feel good to you, should make you feel good about yourself. So here's a few things I have learned that help me to like myself better, so I'm more likely to always do my best. The first one, do things once. Has anyone heard that before? Do things once. I've never heard it put like that. But I learned this from a friend whose mother used to tell her that if she indeed focused in the present moment, with her full attention on the task at hand, that her power would be focused and directed to the task, and she would be more efficient with her time and energy. It's like the opposite of multitasking, right? Which we're so good at right now. Some people like to say it this way, do it right the first time, right? But to me, this really stresses the idea of doing it right instead of mindfully focusing on what I'm doing. So when we are mindful with our attention, our actual putting our sight on something, and all of our senses on something and paying attention, then we allow our power to come forth naturally with little effort on our part. In fact, we become energized and we feel good about ourselves when we do things once. So I really liked that idea Haven't forgotten that. Second action. We must use everything we already have before more can be given. I can't really remember where I came across that idea first, but I've used that a lot in my life as far as upgrading things like my house. Use everything you have to the fullest, to the glory that's already here. Otherwise, how will the universe know you need more, right? The universe does not know that you are in need of something if you still have a surplus laying around, wasting or rotting away, right? Find a way to put all you have, things, ideas, money, love, kindness, truth, integrity, into use somehow, in some way. The universe thinks if you are not using and enjoying it, you probably are not ready for more or better. Make the best use possible with what you have first, and then more will be given. Number 3, take care of what you have created. We've created many, many things in our lives. We've created our life situation, our home. We've created our bodies, our relationships, our jobs, our careers, our hobbies, our friends. In fact, through our choices, we keep creating and creating things. The highest compliment to our creative power, or God, would be to care for what we create. Our careful love and attention to the things in our life shows the importance we give to our creations. And the universe responds in kind to us by showing us things to love. When we treat our creations as divine, whether it is our material possessions, our life circumstances, or the people in our lives, then we send a message to the universe that we recognize God energy underlying all things, and we begin to experience life that way. Nurture and care for your body. Nurture and care for your job, for your things, for your relationships, for your home, and create new habits that make you feel good about yourself. Use your power for good for all. Just like God does, right? Equally good for all. That's how we open the flow of good into our lives. We relate to all things, authentically claiming our connection with all things in God. In the presence of now, spread kindness, love, and joy. In this moment, we can rejoice and say, to God be the glory. So one little tiny thing I was thinking of, after I had written this, I was thinking about relationships in general, because we're wrapping up this whole abundant relationship things. And I was thinking of myself and other people in my life as 5-year-olds. Can you see the 5-year-old in someone? And 5-year-olds are so innocent, aren't they? And they're so wondering. And they don't really assume things. And they don't really have a lot of opinions about things yet. And I was thinking how wonderful it would be if we could approach each other and see each other as the innocence of a 5-year-old and how that might change our relationships. So, let's sing.
God, you are every mountain. God, you are every ocean. God, you are every canyon every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every morning. God, you are every midnight. God, you are every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. God, you are every sunrise. God, you are every moon glow. God, you are every star shine, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every springtime. God, you are every snowfall. God, you are every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe. And your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you.
Okay, as the ushers come forth, this is our time to consciously participate in the spiritual practice of the law of circulation. So if you'll take your gift in your hand and now with me, that from the bountiful blessings that I have received, I gratefully and joyfully share these blessings, knowing that these blessings multiply and serve the world in numerous ways. And our affirmation: with prosperous thoughts and actions, I prosper.
On the day of our annual meeting, let's affirm for ourselves and each other these wonderful words. Here we go. We're an awesome, supportive, spiritual group. We're the core of positive energy. We're an awesome, supportive, spiritual group. We're the core of positive energy. We're doing it together. We're doing it together. Doing it together, changing our world. We're an awesome, supportive, spiritual group. We're the core of positive energy. We're an awesome, supportive, spiritual group. We're the core of positive energy. Doing it together. Doing it together. Doing it together.
Oh, and from the awesome blessings that we have received and shared, they go forth, multiplying, blessing our church, our community, and the world. And so it is.
I think that we're ready to claim our good here, so we'll put that up on the screen. And these are affirmations that we all say together that are themed around relationships. This is the last time for these, so here we go. I am making room for amazing relationships in my life. I am naturally good at having honest and open communication. I am loved more than I ever thought possible. And so it is.
I'm in the right place I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message right here. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message right here. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message right here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Here we go.
Open to receive.